fact, he doesn't care about them at all. Um, what is that?
Can you mute?
Yeah, wait, hold on. It's someone is vacuuming upstairs. I don't know why. They're
It's the loudest vacuum I've ever heard in my life.
Welcome to Recapping Romantasy, hot takes on hot literature. Who are we?
We are me, Emma.
I am Maura.
And I am Tabitha. Recapping Romantasy contains mature content from fairy smut to dragon rider torture to monster genitalia. Be sure to check the episode notes for content warnings and the links to our socials. Emma, are you clicking stuff on your computer?
I know, I'm sorry. My computer
mute
glitched
you.
for a second. I'm so sorry. I didn't
It's
realize
fine.
how
We
loud
can
it
mute
was.
literally everybody.
I can mute everything but me.
Remember, that's the one good thing about this program.
That's true.
Okay, so we are going to talk today about the book City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. One thing before we start, I have two working titles for this episode, so you two need to help me. Number one, She Descends My Darkness Until I Ascend. I don't think that one works because you need to know the content for that.
Yeah.
I also have She Shadow Hunts My Mortal Instrument Until I Bone. Is that
yeah.
anything?
No, that's way better because you got all the keywords in there that
Yeah.
everyone would be looking for, and perfect. Yeah.
It's so long, but I love it.
All right. Okay, so second, I'm actually gonna talk for a bit. Like, the format of this one is a little different. I kind of went through my notes quickly. I'm going to talk about the author first because the author's had a lot of, I don't want to say controversy. She's had a lot of press
infamous.
about certain things.
Negative press, one might say.
Yeah.
Tabitha's been frothing at the mouth to talk shit about this.
Yes, for like months, maybe years.
She's like, I can't wait till we do this episode.
So the reason I'm talking about this is there is a lot to say about her, and also this ties like very closely to my early days in fandom spaces. So first, before we started, I wanted to give a disclaimer because I know that there are still, in the year of our Lord 2026, some ride or die Cassandra Clare stands out there. I want to state, once again, my intent is not to make anyone feel bad or angry about something that they enjoy. The point of this podcast is to have fun. I poke fun at things that I like too. I loved a book about the interdimensional monster that turns into smoke, has murdered thousands, and has a cloaca. I am no literary authority. I would also like to remind people that the world is a complicated place,
This
and
is
you
true.
can feel weird about enjoying content made by somebody that you don't think is a good person. For example, one of the most out of character things about me is that I quite enjoy watching hockey, and I still believe that the NHL is a shit organization. I am in fact wearing a hoodie right now
Yeah.
of my team, along with my perfect core glasses.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. I also
Yeah.
changed shirts to match. I'm wearing a USA Olympics like hockey team shirt from Abercrombie. Lots of problematic
Oh,
organizations in that sentence.
And I still know plenty of people who are LGBTQ and allied who enjoy Harry Potter. It's
I
like,
was
what can
gonna
you
say,
do?
Big, big Hermione fan over here, and fuck J.K. Rowling.
So what I'm trying to say is if that you are a Cassandra Clare stan, maybe this episode will not be good and fun for you. I am not the arbiter of great literature, so why subject yourself to listening to some rando if it's going to upset you? Maybe leave this one out and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go take like a spa day.
A good example of this is I told my sister about this podcast when we started, and I was like, I feel like you'd be interested. We read a lot of the same books. And then we talked mad shit about Fourth Wing, and she was like, you know what? I don't know if this is for me. And I said, that's fine.
And it's so funny
you know
because we
what?
didn't really even talk bad shit about Fourth Wing. We all quite liked
No,
it.
that's true. That's true. Not until what's the second one? Iron Flame.
Yeah, Iron Flame, and then
Fifth
it all,
Wing, whatever
it
the
all
fuck
became
it's called.
obvious it was falling apart.
Yes, Fifth Wing. We were like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
And
like, wheels are coming off. Yeah.
And you know what? That's okay. I still talk about books with her all the time. Just like we can have different opinions and still enjoy similar
Differences in
things.
opinion abound. It's totally fine.
Yeah, there's
all be
a
adults here.
bad movie podcast that I still listen to sometimes, and I have specifically gone out and found movies that they have talked about that sound really bad because it's fun.
Mm.
Yeah, it is fun to watch bad movies.
I love a hate watch and a hate read.
Mm-hmm.
For a while there, I would watch Armageddon over and over again just for the fun of it. It was so dumb.
One of the ones they talked about that I ended up watching was the Matthew McConaughey movie Serenity, where he's like a fisherman in the Caribbean, and it's real like grizzled, and then you find out the whole thing is a video game simulation. Not to spoil Serenity for anybody.
I didn't know that existed, but okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a movie.
It's so weird.
I mean, I made Tabitha watch the worst movie ever. Oh,
Shrek?
fuck, what's it called? Beautiful Disaster. No, shut the fuck up! Don't talk shit about Shrek. How dare you?
No, you did make me watch Beautiful Disaster, and then I made you watch Beautiful Wedding,
did.
which is somehow worse. It's more like a fever
It's
dream.
so much worse. Mm-hmm.
What about that?
And it was
whole
fun.
part?
It was fun.
That whole part with like the dick ruler on the
The
screen?
animated
Yeah.
wieners. Yeah.
Oh my god. What
You
the
have to
hell?
watch it, Maura. I can't believe you still haven't seen it.
Well, no, because I
It's so bad.
value my time.
No. Join us.
All right.
Oh
So
god, I have so much to watch. I'm so behind.
So Cassandra Clare.
Okay.
She got her
Yes.
start, I would say, in the early days of the internet. I don't know, like around 2001-ish, the early aughts. I remember this because it was
The golden age.
yeah, I was like in high school around that time. So like my place in this was, I think I found out about her from the very secret diaries of the members of the fellowship, which is the thing she wrote that were like journals of the members of the fellowship.
And this is all on like LiveJournal, right?
Yes,
Like,
this was mostly LiveJournal at the time.
mhm.
And I was deeply into Lord of the Rings at the time. And so people kept recommending to me to read these. And I have to say, I read them and I didn't care for them. I found them to be like mean-spirited in a way I didn't really enjoy. And so I was just like, I wasn't like mad about it or anything. I was just like, this is kind of weird. And so then I was also kind of in the Harry Potter fandom. It was more just like, I was never into like the fan fiction part of it, but there was so much overlap between people who were and people who were just interested in the original text that I just saw a lot of it. And she had wrote a series, it was the Draco trilogy. It was 3 long pieces of fan fiction. And I did either read them or kind of skim read them because they were just so incredibly popular at the time. She was what they was called a big name fan. So one of the things that I picked up on immediately in reading this fan fiction is her alleged plagiarism was extensive and obvious. So when she would write, she would take like whole sections of often dialogue from other sources. And it wasn't even necessarily like obscure other sources. Like the one that got me a lot was she would quote from Buffy, and it would just
I was gonna say I thought a lot of the plagiarism was from Buffy.
Yeah, that was the one I could usually identify immediately.
Mhm.
And it wasn't like a small part of the scene. It was delivered as like dialogue from that character. And at the time I thought, well, this is weird. Like this is from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and she's not saying anything about it. She was ultimately called out for it, and she tried to defend herself by saying it was like an homage to the source, and she tried to then add footnotes. Yeah. So basically she took a lot of quotes from other media. She didn't always cite it properly, and then she ended up taking like a bigger piece, and this was from a published book that I wasn't familiar with, but that was the thing that ultimately got her banned from fanfiction.net for plagiarism.
Damn.
I didn't know she was banned from fanfiction.net.
Yes.
That's telling.
Yes.
Like, how do you get banned from fanfiction.net? Like, you have to do something pretty egregious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like before the porn ban, right? Which is where like most people got banned, or like all their shit got taken down.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was just extensive and obvious, and she never really copped to plagiarism. The best she did was like, no, this was an homage. I think in the case of this book, I think she claimed she talked to the author and the author okayed it.
You still have to say that somewhere, though.
Yeah. So she
Also, wasn't this during... Oh, sorry. Wasn't this during the time of fan fiction when they would all say like, "This I don't own this. This is
Yes.
obviously a J.K. Rowling."
There were
work, blah,
disclaimers
blah,
on
blah, blah.
everything because people were getting cease and desist.
We had to do that so Anne Rice didn't sue us.
Yes, it was all because of her.
Okay.
So
citations are stupid and extreme, but you still have to do them.
So all of this happened. She keeps writing the Draco trilogy. People still love it for some reason. And then it got taken down because she became an actual published author. The first book in the Mortal Instruments series, City of Bones, which we are recapping today, came out in 2007. In 2016, she was sued by Sherilyn Kenyon, an author, for allegedly plagiarizing her Dark Hunter series, which came out in the late 1990s. The legal claim was lowered from outright plagiarism to something lesser that involved like branding issues with the name Shadowhunters or something like that. And they settled out of court. We don't know the details. So that was the thing that at the time a lot of people pointed to, like having observed her dubious citations in the Draco trilogy, I would be inclined to believe Kenyon. However, I will say that the similarities in their stories are very close, but they're also just kind of like tropes of the genre. You know what I mean? Like supernatural hunters of monsters kind of things. And yeah, a lot of books that get published for the same audience do sound extremely similar. Like I have read so many horror novels in my life that they've all kind of blended together in my brain, and I can never tell if I've read something before.
That's just how the publishing industry works now. Everything is a derivative of something else.
Yes, every male love interest in the romantasy world is like a shadow daddy now.
Has to be. With tattoos.
Yeah.
Often
tattoos that
have
are
to be on the neck now too. It must be everywhere up the neck.
Yeah.
People should go to Scotland. There's like neck tattoos everywhere there. That was my one takeaway from going to Scotland.
So it's beautiful, the night court
and
it's
a lot of neck tattoos.
You know,
it's the night court.
Somebody recently asked me what the people were like in Scotland, and I said, imagine a Scottish person. Okay, they look exactly like that. That was the best way I could describe it. Every time I walked around and looked around, I was like, yeah, that seems right. Anyway, also a big fat coda to that plagiarism lawsuit. And
there's more.
Yeah,
it's always more.
In 2018, Kenyon filed a lawsuit against her husband, claiming that he conspired to kill her with poison. Yeah. She also alleged there were a lot of documents of like little things throughout the relationship in this lawsuit. She also alleged that the entire lawsuit against Claire was his idea. At this point, her son comes out and says, actually, that's not true. And their home was a nightmare for a while because Kenyon was obsessed with Claire and would literally stomp around screaming about her. So this whole situation is very bizarre and layered, and I'm willing to leave it to the legal system.
Yeah, like I don't know the works of Kenyon or Clare all that well, but I know authors, and that totally tracks because when I say that authors are insufferable and some of us are legit a problem, I mean that. They are so crazy sometimes. And like this is in the past. Well in the past. I could name several problems going on right now.
Yeah. Like you listen, I say this, you have to have an arch nemesis, whether for the bit or for real, but like you got to like temper it, you know?
Yeah. Oh, it's a problem.
So another thing, just to have in your mind about Cassandra Clare, as we read this story, is I'm not even going to say allegedly, I'm just going to say she likes to write about incest, and then allegedly deny she has a fetish for it. So she wrote a story back in her fan fiction days, her Harry Potter fan fiction days. She wrote a Ron Ginny story, Ron Weasley, Ginny Weasley story. That was very explicit. I watched a YouTube video about her to get all my points straight. And I had like forgotten about this and the fact that I think I read this when it came out. Like, again, just because she was so popular that my friends were like, hey, look at this crazy thing. And so we kind of like read it to discuss it. But the thing I definitely didn't remember until it was brought up was, do you know what the name of this fan fiction story she wrote about Ron and Ginny was? The Mortal Instruments.
Yeah. I had more of a reaction when you told me this the first time because I was like, of course it is.
That's is that the name of this book?
That's the name of the series.
Gross.
And we will see.
Did this become a movie?
Yeah. It also became a
It
TV
became a
show.
movie and a TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the guy who plays Jace in the movie is the guy who plays Vecna in Stranger Things.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna watch this.
The movie flopped, but
Yeah.
so they turned it into a TV show, and I think it did moderately better. But
Yeah,
I just don't think it really transferred.
Yeah, I brought this
film.
up to my cousin, who is a big fan of the show. So
Yes.
hello. And she told me she loved this TV show when it was on. I don't know if it's still on.
Okay.
I know nothing about it.
I have no idea.
Oh my god, this movie's got 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't
it wasn't
do
well received, which would make sense.
So yeah, just to keep that in mind of incest as a thing that happens as we move forward in the story. Also, the last thing about Cassandra Clare is just she has numerous bullying accusations, like cyberbullying. Like I said, there's several YouTube videos that go do a deep dive about this period of time. I'll link them in the show notes because if you like internet gossip, it's pretty interesting. And like I said, this is like where my disdain for her comes from. Like the vibe in this fandom space was just really, really toxic because of her and her crew at the time. It gave very high school popular girl clique energy, which again, we're all fucking nerds here. This is all about Harry Potter fan fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was also this whole thing. And I remember when this went down, where she lived in New York City at the time, and somebody broke in and stole the laptops of her roommate, and her roommate's boyfriend, I believe, or her boyfriend. I think her roommate's boyfriend. And people were like pooling money to give to her, and this was again like early aughts, so there weren't easy ways to buy things online back then. Like they didn't have a lot of like portals set up.
No, no, Venmo did not exist in 2001.
Yeah, like it was like a challenge, and people were like, "Oh, we should, help her get her laptop back so she can keep writing." And she did nothing to like dissuade people from this. She was like, "Well, this is the kind of laptop I had."
Go to the library and type on a laptop there,
Also,
babe.
something that
Get a journal.
I just pieced together when all of this went down back then. I thought she was like just out of college age, and I learned in like looking at her wiki that she would have been about 30 years old when this all happened.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I just sort of think it's once you're 30 years old and you are dallying around in a fan space that you know has younger people in it, and then you are okay with getting solicitations and or soliciting money from them, I should say. From teenagers a lot of the time, and at a time where it was really hard to send money over the internet. Is weird, and, and I know she's not doing anything illegal, but I also think like you were old enough to understand that was a problem and to not do it.
Like you were like 17 and that was happening, fine.
Right?
Or like 21. Okay, maybe.
Like a 30-year-old should have a bit more, I don't know, wherewithal to not do that, and also have a job where you can perhaps buy your own laptop.
Yeah, or like once you get enough money, say like that's fine. Or I'll just get a shitty laptop.
Yeah,
she was professionally before this a journalist, I believe. I do not know in what capacity.
Okay,
she didn't have a work laptop.
Yeah,
sorry.
But
well, in 2001, that might not have been a thing. But
like I said,
like,
also,
oh come on,
a lot of the alleged bullying was directed towards people that she had disagreements who were usually like college students. So like that's not a great look either. Anyway, on to the book. We just cut out a whole bunch of more shit talking about her. Okay, so
and you'll never know.
Yeah, no. So part 1. Okay, here's the thing. She names every single chapter in this, and she names every single part, and we also have a quote attached to that part. So,
I found that so insufferable.
I loved the part titles because I was sitting with Tabitha and I was just going through them, and I was just laughing at them. I'm like, what is this? Like the dark descent, we are descending. We're still descending. Oh no, we ascend. Yeah.
Okay,
it's so fun.
Part 1, Dark Descent. We start with a quote from Paradise Lost, which is bold of her.
All of the quotes are bold.
Yes. We also start the entire book with a Shakespeare quote from, what was it, Julius Caesar?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so
Okay.
Clary Frey is 15 years old, living in New York City, and currently at a club called Pandemonium. Side note, in a D&D game years ago, my friend played as a semi-professional wrestler, barbarian class, I think, that dressed like a panda and called himself Pandemonium. So every time I see that
That's
word,
amazing.
I read it in a Hulk Hogan-esque affect. I also think that was the game where
You're gonna do it, right?
it was
please
like
do it.
Pandemonium, sort of like that.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So I think that was the game where I was playing as a child sorcerer and we all got TPK'd in our first fight. That was a bummer. We all had good characters.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, she is there with her best friend Simon, who is a classic mid-aughts, quote-unquote, nice guy. He stays a prominent character throughout the series, so maybe he matures after this book, but ugh.
I did not
No.
like Simon.
No.
I didn't
At
either.
all. Every time he opened his mouth, I was just like, what bullshit is this character going to say next?
Yeah.
Because, like, oh, God.
So we immediately shift perspectives to some random guy with colored hair who is something supernatural and is stalking a human to eat, I guess. A girl gives him come hither eyes and they head to a storage room. Emma,
Ooh.
yes.
Okay, when I started listening to this book, I listened to like the first 3 chapters and got so confused because it's just the same narrator in the book, which is totally fine. It's the woman who does the voice of Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. What is her name?
Egg?
May something. May Whitman. Haha.
Yeah.
Yes, she did play her on Arrested Development. But when they switch POVs in this like part, there was no way of me knowing, and I was like, what is happening? It's like this person in someone else's body. Also, I was just like a little too tired to actually pay attention to anything. So I had to, when I restarted this, when I went back to like listen to the next bit, I had to restart the whole book because I had no fucking clue what was happening. So and that's kind of a theme for this whole book for me.
Listen, I read all of this for this podcast months ago, and I remember nothing.
I
Like,
finished
literally
it 2 weeks
nothing.
ago.
Back to Clary, who is dancing, sees this guy, thinks about talking to him, then sees him hone on a girl who is much hotter than her. That's what she thinks. Because she's immediately always comparing herself to other girls and judging those girls. She proceeds
Yeah.
to stare at them like a weirdo while ignoring her friend. She sees them go into a storage room, and then she sees 2 dudes with knives converge on that room. Simon doesn't see this, but says he'll go get someone, and then Clary just like walks into the crime scene. So
Yeah, that was insane.
As you would, yeah.
So
Gonna just go in there. That's fine.
so
With no hand-to-hand combat training.
As a teen.
yeah.
Yeah, she's like 15.
I know. What is she gonna do exactly?
So this guy turns out to be a demon, and the 3 teens that she sees bind it and then helpfully give the demon a lesson on what demons are.
Yeah. All right. So when I first read this book, I started reading it like maybe what is it now? 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Kind of around when it came out the first time. And I got to this point, this one scene, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah,
It was so clunky. It was so clunky that
No,
I was just like, I have to stop, and I
Yeah,
just
well-
DNF'd it right then.
I had to reread the first like 3 chapters because I had no idea what was happening. I
I
will
was
say,
just like, why would you do this? Why would you tell a demon that it's a demon so you can tell the audience that this is a demon? Like, I'm like, this is so dumb.
because this is good writing. This is a world build. I was saved by being a judgmental person. I never read these when these came out. Like everyone else was reading them and talking about them. I picked up the book and I was like, this is a fucking ugly cover, and I put it back.
It is. It is. An
Which
ugly
is how I
cover.
chose books back then. If the covers were like anywhere near uggo,
Yeah.
put that
What is
shit
it?
back
Is it
on the
still
shelf.
like? Is it still like the naked man torso and like the city thing going on? Did they update it? Okay.
no, actually, this does remind me something I meant to mention when I was bitching earlier was I tried to read this book starting when it came out in 2007, 2008. And I immediately, as somebody who read her fan fiction, clocked that her fan fiction Draco is the exact same character as Jace. Like, it is 1-in-1. They're exactly the same person. And I couldn't.
Well, what is it that they? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I couldn't do it. I have spent 15 years thinking about reading this book just to like get it done with, and not doing it because of my memories of her fan fictions.
Well, isn't it like a joke? It's a running joke, really, that Jace is just Draco with leather pants, right?
Yeah, it is. Like,
Yeah.
a joke.
Black leather pants Draco.
I found him so annoying. Like fan fiction Draco nowadays is like, you know, not a whiny piss pants baby.
Well, I find that other versions, like in Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, he's at least funny when he's trying to be funny.
Yeah.
I don't think Jace is funny
that's
when
true.
he's trying to be funny. I think he's just insufferable.
No.
No.
Anyway, we haven't
he's not
haven't
funny.
even gotten to him yet. So these three teens, they kill the demon. Clary's like, what the fuck was all that? She starts bickering with these people who are named Isabel, Alec, and Jace. And when the bouncer comes over, she realizes that number one, the demon body has vaporized, and two, no one else can see these people but her. So she's like, never mind. And then her and Simon go home in a cab. And I was like, whoa, no subway for them, these little rich kids. And then I was like, I don't think they ever use the subway in this book, even when they're having like transportation issues.
They don't.
No, they like talk about using it all the time because I found that really annoying. And I also think this is a very like New York thing to be like, oh, are you taking the L train to get there? Blah, 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 blah. Also, the fact that they're 15 and clubbing, I can't get over that. I remember when I was young.
Yes.
And they had those teen clubs and they would always talk about it on the radio. And I was like, this sounds so stupid. You're going to go to a club and what, be sweaty and dance? You can't even drink or like do drugs?
Well,
also, exactly.
She does
what are you going to do?
Yeah, and then when the demon like vaporizes in front of her, my first thought was like, oh, maybe she was roofied. I mean, I knew it was magic, but whatever. That never went into her mind. She never was like, maybe someone gave me like LSD or something. I don't know what drugs people did back then.
This does start the trend of the fact that Clary is honestly very stupid.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but this whole opening sequence is very Buffy fanfic for me. It's very like the Mary Sue in the story accidentally sees Xander and Willow alert Buffy to a vampire at the Bronze and then bumbles into them mid-slay. And before you know it, she becomes instrumental to the Scooby Gang. And then Faith tragically dies at the hands of Angel, except he's Angelus now since Buffy is fallible and fucked him. So Mary Sue is the new Slayer? Like, that's totally the vibe of what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, part of this too is like in Buffy, there was nothing else to do in that town but go to the Bronze. That was like a talking point. The way she tries to portray Clary and Simon is they don't seem like the kind of kids that would go clubbing. Like they're too they're too academic for that. Anyway.
Yeah. So the pandemonium thing has always been very confusing to me because then they're like, maybe we should just go to the next club. I'm like, what clubs are you talking about?
Right.
But I grew up in a place that was very much like the, Sunnydale. It didn't have that. So it was just like, you know what we did? We just drove around a parking lot all night.
Well, there were several bars in my very, very small rural hometown, and people got stabbed in every single one of those. So yeah, no, I don't think so.
I just hung out in people's basements. But
Yeah.
maybe this is like a city thing, you know. I grew up in the burbs.
Yeah, it was a small college town. We didn't have burbs.
Next day, Simon calls her and asks to go to a friend's poetry slam.
So insufferable.
And she reluctantly agrees to ask her mom, since her mom is still mad at her for going out to the club the previous night, as she should be. She runs into Luke carrying some cardboard boxes. Luke is her mom's best friend, basically, and also totally not in love with her.
Never.
So basically, Luke has been a stand-in for Clary's dad because Clary's dad died when she was, I think, just pregnant. I can't remember what the story is she gives her.
Yeah,
it
was before she was born.
It's not true anyway, as we find out. He doesn't really want to answer what the boxes are for. So Clary asks her mom, Jocelyn, who, don't worry, is slim. That's the thing we learn about her.
My mother is slim. Yeah. Just slip that in there.
And her mom is like, we are going on vacation upstate with a bunch of our shit. They argue. Luke is telling Jocelyn to fess up to something, and then Simon walks in and is like, hey guys, what's going on? Luke stomps off, and then Clary flounces off with Simon, for poetry.
When she was like, Mom, you're ruining my summer, I was like, it's like 2 weeks.
Isn't it because wait, yeah, it was because of art camp. She spent so much money on art camp, and she's like, never mind, we're going upstate.
I don't know. I think I was like, I'm too old to read this, because I was like, it's fine, it's 2 weeks, you'll get over it, you'll have another summer in your life. Like, I was like,
right. It's like, absolutely, I could not think to myself, yeah, this girl definitely seems like someone who would go to art camp. Like,
no, I don't.
No, she did not.
I don't even talk about this in my notes. Yes. But Clary's big thing is that she draws. She's like an artist. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We get a little bit about the weird relationship between Simon and Clary. Simon likes her, and Clary is like territorial. She doesn't seem to want to date him, but she also doesn't want him to date other girls. So then in the cafe, she sees Jace, who stares at her and then leaves. She follows. Jace and Clary banter. He says he was following her to see if she is dangerous, and then says other things she has no context for, like Shadowhunter and Downworlder and Hodge. He tells her that if she focuses, she can see things formerly invisible, like Jace's tattoos, because of course he has tattoos. But not actually tattoos. They're just magic runes that have been carved into the skin and used in fights.
So this is neither here nor there, but Teen Mom premiered in 2009 on MTV, about 2 years after this book was first published. And one of the babies on that TV show was called Jace. Now, in the early 2000s, there was a sudden rash of Twilight-inspired baby names. So I can never separate City of Bones and Cassandra Clare from this, what is surely a 16-year-old now, Jace. I'm sorry to this person who I know exists. And this truly terrible, gross idea that MTV had 17 years ago that I still cannot believe was allowed to be greenlit. And they're so entwined in my head now. It's really hard to separate them.
You can't think about City of Bones without thinking about teenage pregnancy.
Yes. Uh-huh. And all those teenagers who were pregnant at the time reading this series.
And they're like,
all I can think about. Yeah, and they're like, Jace.
Clary.
Jace is a great name, and Clary's a great name for a girl, and I'm just going to name them. Yeah.
Terrible names.
So, yeah, firmly entwined in my head.
So then Jace tells her that she needs to go with him to the Institute, and she rightfully balks. But just then she gets a call from her mom, which I initially said, ooh, rich kids having cell phones in the mid-aughts. And then I stopped and I think I might have had a cell phone by 2005 or 6. So, yeah, I'm not one to talk.
I had one, but they were so expensive, and like to text back then was like exorbitant. So no one would do that unless you had funds.
Yeah, I was mostly like just for emergencies, and I guess this would be considered an emergency. So
yeah, I had a cell phone for emergencies when I was in high school, which was like the late 90s, but I was instructed to never use it. Never. Don't use it even if you are in an emergency. Like, think really hard about whether or not this emergency requires a call to a parent. So I never use it.
I had a cell phone in high school, but it was like 2005, 2006. Mm-hmm. So like late aughts.
Yeah. I think.
But we had minutes.
I think that was just me being judgmental. So anyway, her mom calls her frantically, telling her not to come home and to find Luke. And then there's a ruckus, and the line goes dead. Clary absolutely freaks, breaks her phone, steals Jace's phone that isn't a phone, actually, claws his face, and then runs away.
Yeah, I was like, why are you clawing his face? What's going on here?
She runs home, dumb, and encounters what we find out is called a Ravener. It's a type of demon that looks like a cross between a scorpion, a spider, and a centipede, kind of. Also, Clary can understand it while it talks about how it wants to eat her, but it says someone named Valentine may get upset.
This is so clunky. Again, so clunky.
It pins her, and she crams Jace's not a phone in its mouth. I don't know, it's something magical. And it starts spasming, and Clary tries to escape, but something wangs her in the back of the head, and she passes out. She comes to outside with Jace, who says she killed it, but it did manage to poison her. So that's why she needs to go to the Institute now for healing. She passes out again. She comes 2 days later in a bed at this institute, which is a home/training center for shadow hunters. She overhears people being a dick to her for no reason. One of the things she hears is, quote, "Yeah, I thought she was a pixie the first time we saw her. She's not pretty enough to be a pixie, though," end quote.
Right? Okay. What the hell is wrong with these
I don't know.
people? Like, who would say that? No one would say that. Oh my God.
Not while someone's passed out in
Not,
front of you,
yeah,
though.
like you're worried
Yeah.
about this person. Like you brought them home. You're like, you know what? Clearly, we brought this person here to
Well,
be healed. But you
when
know,
is
on the off
ever-
chance that
She's
people
really
care,
ugly.
she's ugly.
When is anybody ever laying in a hospital bed hot?
Exactly. She's not looking her best. And like, why are you being judgmental of this person who's clearly recovering from a deadly wound?
Because we have to show that this person's a mean girl.
Um,
God.
She wakes up, and while they wait for Hodge, their tutor, kind of, he's like the one adult there, Isabel gives her a potion, and they talk about what happened, with Isabel being disbelieving because Claire is what they call a mundane or a Monday, or let's be real, she's a muggle, a non-magical person. Before she leaves, Isabel tells her that she smells.
Again, like,
Yeah.
it's like she was brought here against her will. She also had, you know, a terrible experience with the centipede monster. She was poisoned by said monster. A lot has happened. I don't know when she
Yeah.
last had a shower. Why?
Hey, you're ugly and you smell.
You're ugly and you smell.
After getting dressed, she finds Jace playing the piano. I don't know why this is mentioned. And he takes her to Hodge, just so we're impressed with him, I think.
I think, yeah.
I am just going to sum up everything we learn in this chapter because it is an info dump of various vocab words. So there's a place called Idris Elba. Just Idris. Idris Elba is the shadow hunter home country, and it is, of course, invisible. There's
easy.
There's a cat named Church.
Isn't it somewhere near Luxembourg?
Yeah,
or am
it
I
is.
just coming up with that out of my... Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I retained information.
There's a cat named Church. There's a raven named Hugo. Parabatai means a pair of bonded shadow hunter warriors. I assume similar to the Golden Band of Thebes, but without the gay sex, presumably.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me, too.
Jace and Alec are Parabatai, and Alec is a massive asshole to Clary. Forsaken are mundanes that have been given rune magic and are destroyed because of it. Sort of like zombies, and they can kind of be commanded to do bad things. Or maybe good things. I don't know. Maybe they could do your laundry. Jace says Clary is not a mundane because he drew a rune on her arm to hide her while she was unconscious, and she clearly didn't turn.
That is quite a bold thing
Yeah,
to
it is.
do if you didn't know that
Yeah.
he... Yeah,
Which I
like
think
on the
she-
off chance.
Someone yells at him.
Yeah,
for
they're
doing
all
that,
mad at
which-
him
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
ask if her parents are magical, and she says her mother is not, and her dad is dead. Then she calls Luke, and Luke is like, "You ain't my kid. The cops came by and told me, and I don't need your problems. Smell you later, nerd."
That was another
Yeah.
one where I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me?
Well,
Why is
right.
everyone
Wait,
so mean to her all of
we
a
find
sudden?
out why later.
I forget.
Same.
Talk about it.
I did not retain that.
Clary starts crying and just like blargs more information at them. She mentions the name Valentine, and they all like react to it. Valentine is, well, he's Voldemort. He's an evil wizard who wants to rid the world of lesser magical beings and mundanes, or, you know, muggles. Everyone thinks he is dead, but he may yet still live. So shadow hunters, which is what all these fuckers are also called, sorry.
No, good.
Shadow hunters are also called Nephilim because they are
Yeah.
born with an angelic bloodline. They are mortal, but they have special powers to help them fight demons.
Can I just take a break here to tell you that there were so many books published in 2007 or around then that were about the Nephilim. I can name like at least maybe 6
I-
off the top of
This is
my
like my
head.
first time hearing this word.
This
and I
is-
read
It was
this book.
so popular.
This is something that I really dislike in fantasy is angels and
Mhm.
demons shit. Like, as somebody who is,
Oh my god.
I don't know if it's because as somebody who's not religious at all, it just means absolute jack shit to me.
Yeah, it was so popular.
I want to blame Supernatural for this because that was my big.
Mhm.
Well, I had a lot of conflicts with the show Supernatural, but one of them was I fucking loved the Monster of the Week episodes.
Mhm.
You know, ghosts, Bigfoots, stuff like that. I don't know if they ever did a Bigfoot. They
Yeah.
had to have done a Bigfoot. There's like 15 fucking.
They did. It was
seasons.
Wendigo. They did a Wendigo one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wendigo and Bigfoot are two completely different entities.
It was not Bigfoot, but they went with Wendigo and they treated it like a Bigfoot episode. Moving
Oh my god. I'm sitting here and I have no context. I'm sorry, just threw my phone. I have no context for anything you're talking about because I did not watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer and I did not watch Supernatural.
You don't need to watch Supernatural, but you do need to watch Buffy.
should watch
Buffy
Buffy.
is a cultural moment. You have to watch it.
No, I would subject nobody to Supernatural. I
No.
did my time.
It was
but
15
no,
years and
that
it was
show-
about 12 years too long.
That show felt like a bait and switch to me. Like, I started watching it for the ghosts and the monsters, and they brought in
Yeah.
fucking angels and demons.
They did. It was absolutely a bait and switch. Yeah, it was supposed to be like two brothers hunting demons, blah blah blah, and then it was just like, by the way, you're like angelic and crap, and the end of the world is coming. I'm like, oh god.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the problem. Is like when it comes up in these books, I'm like, oh, so you're telling me the Christian pantheon is real, and then I'm kind of out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I kept having to go to the like wiki for like the Shadowhunters wiki to figure out what the hell is going on, and apparently the very first Shadowhunter was a crusader, and the angel Raziel allowed the human
Who cares?
to drink his angelic blood from the mortal cup. But don't worry, everyone, it was to fight hordes of demons, not Muslims.
Yep. Yeah.
I was like so
Yeah.
offended. I was like, a crusader? A crusader?
Yeah, you had to pick a
Yeah.
crusader. Yes.
So anyway,
yes.
Hodge, the one adult in this building that she's talking to, says that he is
The worst adult.
they're all pretty bad. Hodge says he's going to write the Clave and the Silent Brothers. The Clave is the governing body for Shadowhunters. The Silent Brothers are Shadowhunters who chose to take on more powerful runes, become deformed by them, and communicate psychically. They live as monks, practicing medicine and librarianship. Clary says she wants to look for clues in her apartment. I don't know what the fuck she thinks she is here. Like, she in the Scooby-Doo gang or what?
Yeah.
It is. It's the Scooby Doo game. It's
And
Scooby
again,
game.
she's-
She's from Buffy.
15.
So
15 in the double wide.
So Clary and Jace get back to the apartment to look for clues, and they find out that their weird, witchy, derogatory neighbor, Madame Dorothea, isn't magic herself, but was raised by a warlock. And I say witchy derogatory because that's how they portray her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know anything, but reads Clary's fortune with what I would call Chekhov's tarot deck. More on that later. She does, however, have a teleportation portal. So Clary blindly jumps through this because she's dumb as shit.
She's so stupid.
Jace follows, and they pop out at Luke's bookstore, which wasn't there something similar to this in Harry Potter where it was like a portal that would take you. It's kind of like the mirror of whatever the fuck that is.
Oh.
Show you what you desire the most. Yeah.
Yes, but okay, so the whole time I was reading this or listening to it, because I knew it was like a Harry Potter fan fiction, I was like, who are these characters supposed to be? It's very obvious that Clary is supposed to be Hermione and that Jace is obviously Draco with pleather pants. And
Simon is Harry.
I'm like, okay, but I was like, he's Harry because he has glasses, but like the rest of him is kind of like Ron. And I'm like, so we just smushed a bunch of people together. And then for the rest of the book, I was trying to figure out who the fuck these other people are, because Hodge is not like, I'm like, is he supposed to be Dumbledore or like Snape or what is going on? And then I was like, because you know, fanfics usually, well, depends on what kind you're reading, but usually like follows the same beats of the story. So I was like, okay, so is this like the Diagon Alley scene where Harry like says Diagon Alley wrong in the flu fucking chimney, whatever the hell they're called, and then he gets sent to the wrong place, and it's like evil and scary, and I was like, what is going on? And then I gave up trying to figure out who everyone was.
I do think
it was too stupid
that the way she writes Simon is very similar to the way that she wrote Harry in her fan fiction. Obviously, this has been like 20 years since I've read it, but from what I remember, she did not like Harry.
That would make sense because Simon's insufferable.
Well, everyone in this book is.
So, they pop out at Luke's bookstore because he owns a bookstore, of course. They conveniently find Simon, who just showed up looking for her. This happens several times in this story. They end up hiding.
How did he know to go there?
Well, he just like happened to be there.
They didn't.
Oh, right.
So they end up hiding as Luke shows up being escorted by a couple of goons. They want something called the Mortal Cup, and Luke insists he doesn't have it and doesn't know where Clary or her mom are. In fact, he doesn't care about them at all, so he says. It becomes clear these goons are from Valentine. The three teens go back to Hodge, and we get some more vocabulary. The Mortal Cup is the OG vessel the Angel used to make that Crusader a shadow hunter. Now it is the cup, not the blood, that can be used to make muggles into wizards, or mundanes into shadow hunters. But if you fuck it up, you can make people into monsters called the Forsaken, as I mentioned before. The Circle is a group of shadow hunters that rebelled against the Clave because they wanted to eliminate all downworlders and humans. If you remember, downworlders are other monsters like warlocks and vampires and werewolves and, just people trying to live their lives. This group was led by Valentine, and we find out that like every adult we know was a member of it. Luke was Valentine's parabatai. The Lightwoods, which are Alex and Isabel's parents and Jace's adoptive parents, and Hodge were members. And then Jocelyn was Valentine's wife, meaning Clary is Valentine's daughter.
I do also have a question. How if it's not the blood anymore that you're drinking out of the Mortal Cup, that it turns you into, a special boy. So you can just put whatever the fuck you want in there in this cup and drink it. So like you could just put some Mountain Dew, Baja Blast in there.
There's probably an actual answer to that, and I do not know what it is. Because what do you put in it?
Or is it just like you touch the cup and then you become a special boy? Are you Googling it?
Yeah, I am. Most effective with children's. Adults maybe not, can harm you. Special strength, resilience. Just cup used in the sufferers for
the words that you're pulling out of this as you skim read is killing me.
It's various.
Not effective with children. It sounds like it's the start of like a prescription disclaimer.
It's 4 and up.
It looks like in one of the
2 a day.
One of the books they like initiate some more academy students to become shadow hunters, but it doesn't say in the wiki what they drink. So yeah, it might be Mountain Dew.
In my mind, or wouldn't it be? Did Code Red come out in the aughts? I feel like one of those gross ass Mountain Dews came out back then.
When I was in college, there were 2 different drinks in our building's vending machine, our fountain machine, that I loved and they no longer make. One was called Vault. It was like kind of an energy drink. It was greenish colored, kind of Mountain Dew colored. And the other one was called Pibb Extra, and it was just like Mr. Pibb but more extreme. They were fucking great.
My early aughts pop, which is what I remember, is Vanilla Coke came out. That shit was so good. Amazing.
Part 2, easy is the descent. So the descent so far, to keep track, is dark and easy. She has a quote here from the Aeneid, and the quote is in Latin.
Yeah, full in Latin.
It
was like, are you kidding me, Cassie? Yeah, we know who it's for. Come now.
So Clary and Jace make a trip to visit the City of Bones, the name of the book, also called the Silent City, to consult with the Silent Brothers about like why she's like clearly like of Shadowhunter blood, but also a mundane, like what the fuck's going on. The Silent Brothers tell her she has a block in her mind to eliminate memories and to keep her non-magical, and that this spell was done by a warlock named Magnus Bane. So now,
Sick name.
now we go to Magnus's house where he is having a party. And
Oh my God.
Maura and I had a whole aside where we ended up on like TV tropes trying to figure this out. But Magnus is the trope character of a magic user who is bohemian and sensual and by default always kind of pansexual. Like think of Klaus from the Umbrella Academy or the Cat King from the Dead Boy Detectives or Elliot from the Magicians or just Loki from anything. And I remember while reading this the first time and where I stopped in 2008, it was this part because this is the kind of character that I usually like a lot in fiction, and I just did not care for the way that she handled him. I couldn't really find a good trope to match what I think this character is. Like I know why this character exists and why they're like this. It's because you're writing a book where you're already going into a world that is separate from the main world. But you need to have a character that is still somehow different apart from that separate world to have somebody who can like kind of show you what the rules are and how you can go against the established rules of this other world. I also went down a rabbit hole here and found a lot of people who seem to have a high opinion of how Cassandra handled her queer characters. The most puzzling for me is how well they think she wrote the character of Alec, who, by the way, Alec is gay. And because this is how Alec reads to me. Gay teen in love with their straight best friend is a huge dick to the girl he likes until he gets over it by dating a much older man. Which, when I say that out loud, is actually kind of horrifyingly accurate to several people I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Magnus says that Clary's mom has been bringing her to him for years to suppress her memories, and that the spell's too complicated to remove, but it will fade on his own without him doing upkeep. Meanwhile, Simon drinks something random and turns into a rat. So
I didn't like this at all.
Yeah. Indicative that she did not like this character.
As they leave, they get into a kerfuffle with some vampires and they lose track of Simon. Clary and Jace go to the vampire's den to rescue him, and it's a whole thing. It's like a whole part of the book. There is a vampire pretending not to be a vampire to lure them in, and Cassandra tries so hard to let us know that he is Hispanic without saying it. Quote, he was thin-boned with the dark eyes and honey-colored skin of a Diego Rivera painting, end quote. Yeah, he also keeps saying things like puta madre and chico.
The use of chico really made me mad.
Then some werewolves show up, and the vampires and werewolves fight. Then they get Simon and escape on a flying motorcycle powered by demon energy.
This whole section of the book, I was just like, what the fuck is going on right now? Am I in like a quest inside a quest?
Yes,
that just
inside of
showed up
quest.
out of nowhere. Like at no point was this important.
Also, we need to go back a little bit. Well, I'm sorry, I totally forgot about this until now. When we were, because I texted about this when I was listening, the way she describes shit is so bad throughout all of this book. When we are introduced to Jace and they're like killing that demon, they're like, she describes it as his shirt got blacker by the black blood. It was like the blackest black ever. And I'm like, you couldn't have found any other word to use except for black there.
The black became blacker.
Yes. And then the same with when they went to the Silent Brothers, like they're in a graveyard. They're literally talking about how they're in a cemetery to go there. And she's like, I'm walking around the tombstones and there's names on the tombstones and there's dead people. And I guess there's tombstones and maybe it's a graveyard. And I'm like, what are we fucking doing?
Also, there's grass and trees.
Did you have a word count to hit? Like, could have been like 100 pages shorter if she just
it could have been much shorter. It was a long
adjectives.
book to begin with. It didn't need to be this long, and all of this here. I mean, just why? Just cut it.
The whole vampire part, bad.
Yeah, cut it. Why do we need this? It's not doing anything for the overall plot. Cut it.
It was funny. It was fun, guys.
So fun. Oh my god, just so great. I laughed so much in this book.
This guy's a rat. That's hysterical.
So by the way, by the end of all of this, Simon has turned back into a human just because time has passed.
Such a ridiculous side quest.
So back,
Like, why?
And randomly, the motorcycle doesn't work because like the sun's coming up. That also pissed me off.
yeah, no, the flying motorcycle crashes because the sun is coming up and it's powered by nighttime
Darkness.
vampire demon energy.
Demon energy. Yeah.
So back at the Institute, Clary has 2 boys interested in her. Oh no. Alec comes to talk with her and is like, you should go, and calls her dead weight, saying that Jace will hurt himself looking after her. In return, she's like, Jace tells me you've never even killed a demon, virgin. If you haven't figured it out, Jace is the best friend that Alec is in love with. Don't worry, he gets over it.
Yeah.
Jace has a little picnic for her birthday because it's also her birthday in the greenhouse, and then afterwards kisses her. Simon walks out of her room and interrupts them. Clary's like, nothing is going on. And so Simon is mad because of the kissing, and Jace is mad because Simon is in her room and she is denying the kissing. Simon leaves to go home.
Did you at ever any point kind of sense any sort of chemistry between these characters?
No.
Like Jace and Clary having any sort of emotional connection that would lead towards kissing in this book?
No.
Because I was just like, where is this coming from? How did this happen? Like,
I don't know.
It was so random and out of nowhere.
Proximity principle.
Proximity,
or whatever. They're just
exactly.
close to each other.
He has tattoos and they're in proximity.
Yeah.
I guess that's all it would take, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in between fretting about whether she should be with a nice guy, TM, or a fuckboy, Clary starts getting her memories back. She remembers that her mom, a professional artist, can make magic paintings. She realizes that the Mortal Cup is hidden in the tarot deck that her mom gave Madame Dorothea. So they go to her apartment and retrieve it, and Madame Dorothea transforms into the demon Abaddon who wants that fucking cup. Now, I don't know if she transforms into Abaddon or she just like gets possessed by Abaddon. I also don't know why the demon wants the cup. I don't know if he's like working for Valentine or what. I tried to reread this section to make it make sense, but I couldn't really.
That's kind of what I took away from this. I also was like, poor Madame Dorothea. She didn't do like anything wrong, and she just got like destroyed literally by this demon.
Yeah.
Also in this section, like right before this, Clary reads like a book about runes and just somehow like learns how to do them through osmosis.
Yeah.
And then this is where she starts just becoming like truly a Mary Sue and is like, oh my God, I just wrote a rune out of my brain. I just guessed, I like made one up, and now I can reach into paintings and pull things out. Isn't that crazy?
That became.
I'm like, in what world have you been like good at magic until now?
That becomes her special like shadow hunter ability, is that she can think of how to draw a rune and like what power she wants connected to that rune, and then just do it.
Yeah. Which did not seem like how magic worked in this world.
I don't know how it works.
There's very little description
works.
until now. Yeah, I was just gonna say
there's very little.
No description except
there's
for
very
runes.
little like term of rules. Like I don't know anything about how magic works in this world, just that it exists,
and
which
Clary's
is not
good
great.
at it.
Yeah, and she's good at it out of nowhere. Had to work not at all to get it.
In the ensuing fight, Alec is gravely injured. Then Simon shows up, again, just randomly shows up, and ends the fight with a bow and arrow. They rush.
That he just has.
I forget what
and he knows how to use.
Yes, they actually talk about how he knows how to,
they
use
do?
it. It's from summer camp.
Okay. Summer camp where,
Yeah.
where we learn everything.
They rush Alec back to the Institute in Simon's borrowed car because these magical people don't have any better methods of transportation. Hodge gets immediately weird. When they are alone, he knocks out Jace, traps Clary in an invisible bubble, convenient, and summons Valentine. Valentine removes the curse that prevents Hodge from leaving the Institute, and then takes the cup and bounces. He also takes Jace for some reason to be seen. When she gets free, she runs after Hodge, and as he attacks her in an alley, a werewolf intervenes. It is Luke, whose real name is Lucian, because of course it is.
Of course.
I was actually surprised at all of this. Not like a good surprise. I was just like, this also came out of nowhere. Her being good at magic came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Hodge being a whatever person undervalued. Well, I mean,
Part 3, the descent beckons. So to keep track, the descent is dark, easy, and is beckoning. Sounds like your mom last Friday night. Also, we get a quote from William Carlos Williams.
Yeah, to add to the, ambiance.
So we get a bunch
Which
of...
is,
looks so annoying.
as we know, it's very very academic minded, highbrow. This book.
Yeah. We get a bunch of backstory here about how when Luke was turned, Valentine told him, kill yourself, and Luke fled.
Also, we just need to note that Tabitha wrote this as KYS, which is very on brand for the early aughts.
Yeah.
Tumblr fanfiction era, like, perfect.
So we talk about the Rising, which was when the Circle tried to physically fight the Clave. So, like, Voldemort tried to, like, fight the Ministry of Wizardry or whatever. Ministry of Magic. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
The rebellion managed to be suppressed by the work of Luke and Jocelyn. Evidence pointed to Valentine and their son being dead, but Jocelyn was also pregnant at the time, so she went into hiding, where her and Clary pretended to be mundane. Luke tells us all this.
This is when things got so, I don't know, messy here.
Yeah.
I mean, they start throwing new characters at you.
Yeah.
Like, there's a son. You don't know who he is. He's probably dead. Blah, 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 blah. More people. And here's a whole backstory you don't know about. I'm like, whoa, pump the brakes.
Yes. And not to give J.K. Rowling any credit, but at least, like, the words that she used for all of her shit made somewhat sense. Like, Ministry of Magic, got it. I can keep track of what they do. The Clave?
No, none. I don't know this.
Death Eaters, very, very obvious name for a bad crew. The Circle means nothing.
No, nothing.
That sounds like some weird, like, tech bracelet I should be wearing to, like, track my steps.
It sounds like the new thing that Apple should have out. The Apple Circle.
So Luke has spent the past week pretending that he doesn't know Jocelyn and Clary in order to protect them, while amassing a wolf pack to attack Valentine. They determine that Valentine is hiding out at an old smallpox hospital on an island, and so Clary, Luke, and a bunch of werewolves head there to fuck him up. Fighting their way in, Clary finds her mother in a bedroom in some sort of enchanted sleep paralysis. Moving on, she finds Jace, who is acting super weird. Valentine shows up and monologues at us for a while. Turns out he is the real father to Jace, making Clary Jace's younger sister, and this a big old incest romance. So here we are.
Yeah.
Clary and Valentine have a real push-pull exchange with Jace, trying to get him on their side, with Valentine saying that they can return to Idris Elba. However, that sweet sibling love wins out, and he turns on Valentine. Valentine grabs the cup, darts through the portal, and smashes it behind him.
You had told us about the incest plotline in this, and I was like, as you were explaining it, it sounded like it was going to kind of be revealed in later books. And then when it happened now, I sat there and I was like doodling on my iPad as I was listening, and I literally paused throughout all of this and was like listening with rapt attention, not because any of this was interesting or good, but because I can't believe this is what she did in this YA book.
Her debut, no less.
Yeah.
Right. What an insane debut.
I mean, if you think about it, publishing was willing to do almost anything in terms of getting the next Twilight out there. They published so much crap back in the early aughts. It's like so much was bad. And this was just one of those bad books that got out there and just continued to be bad. And I don't know. This continues to just shock and appall me.
It's so I don't even know a word. Like, it's like in your face. I thought they were going to, when they were like, we're related. Oh no. And we made out. But like, maybe I still love you secretly. I thought it was going to be revealed like the next scene, like next page. Just kidding. We're not actually related. No. They're going to string it out for the rest of these books.
And again,
Crazy pants.
when it came out that like, oh yeah, we're probably brother sister, I was like, I don't care. Because, I mean, I didn't feel anything for them having a romance anyway. So I was just like, oh, okay, great. So you guys don't have to do whatever it is you were thinking of doing. Because, like, none of that felt like it was going to go anywhere anyway. Like, you just accidentally kind of pushed your mouth against hers and were like, ha, that happened. And Now it's like a big thing. Like, okay.
Yep.
No, I didn't
Wait.
feel anything.
Speaking of incest and major things, when Luke and Leia kiss, they didn't know that they were siblings, and they found out.
That's correct.
Wait, what does that all happen in the same movie, or does it go?
No. They don't find out until
they kiss in the second one, and they find out in the third. Yeah. I would argue, not that I ever want to be put in a position to defend Star Wars, I would argue that they were never really into each other. They were just using that to make Han jealous.
They were. But like, even so, I heard somewhere recently that they hadn't even written that in as a plot point until the third movie. Like, they were like, hey, here's an idea. We just make them brother sister.
I mean, that feels more on brand for Star Wars.
Yeah. And they were like, they just wrote that into the third movie. And like,
whereas this was written in.
All right.
Because she's into it. Cassandra Clare.
I know. Like, you could have found any other way to keep these characters apart. The fact that they have no chemistry, for instance, could have been enough. But like,
dude, people fucking love this pairing, though.
I don't even get it. I don't get it. Why they don't have anything going for them, and they don't seem to like each other all that much. It's so weird.
No.
Hang on, I'm looking up how many Jace Clary stories there are.
Yeah, how many fan fictions are there for these people?
Like, Hermione and Draco, there's like, oh God, I can't believe I'm like giving any credit to J.K. Rowling. Like, you could see the parallels that would kind of lead them that way.
Yeah, sure. There was like an option for that to happen. I think like she said like that was an option. Like that was something that I thought about doing and didn't, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Honestly,
and then randomly she was like, Ron's better.
A lot, but not as many as I thought there would be. There's over 4,000 of Clary Frey, Jace Whalen of any sort.
Okay, well, that's plenty.
Yeah. Epilogue. The ascent beckons. Go back up now.
Yeah, we're ascending now.
Back at the Institute, Luke survived. Her mom is okay, but still unconscious. And Alec is recovering with the help of Magnus Bane. Isabel is being nice to Clary, saying, quote, just because I've never had a friend who was a girl doesn't mean I couldn't learn how to have one, end quote. And Clary responds, quote, me too, actually, end quote.
Good. God, gross.
Good, great. Like, you two guys, girls, stick with each other and leave the rest out of it.
Right? Like, this is the only girl friendship you're allowed to have.
I have had male friends literally my entire life, ever since elementary school, and it has never been to the exclusion of women, because it was more about like shared interests than it was about misogyny.
Yeah. There's always that one girl, and I'm like, what are you doing?
No, I have a friend who at one point she was like, yeah, I just like don't know how to get along with girls. Like, I just don't. She's like, it's just hard having friends who are girls, and I want to be like, all the friends that you have who are girls suck is the problem. Like, they're all like, I mean, even her friends now, I mean, they're not really her friends, but even her friends now who are girls are like, they're all just obsessed with being moms and like having kids, and that's just like not my friend's ultimate goals. Like, maybe one day that's something she'd be interested in, but she's not like, I went to college to get an MRS degree. Like, that's not her. And so she was like, yeah, so it's like fun hanging out with you and your friends who are, you know, girls, women. I'm like, right, because they're not losers. Like, I have friends who are boys who are normal, and I have friends who are girls who are normal. Like, I just pick people who don't suck to be friends with. It's not that hard.
There's also a whole thing I skipped over throughout this book where Clary thinks Isabel, who is tall and fashionable, is so much more beautiful than her, but Isabel wishes she was petite like Clary. Both of these women are conventionally thin and attractive, FYI.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Clary and Jace are super uncomfortable around each other because of certain revelations.
Yeah, I never noticed a change, honestly.
The end. However, there are more books in this series, and I've listed them out here. So, this is the Mortal Instruments trilogy. We have City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass. But then there are 3 more in this same universe, same character. City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, City of Heavenly Fire. Then there are several companion books, some of which are collections of novellas written by Clare and others. These are the Shadowhunters Codex, the Bane Chronicles, Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, and Ghosts of the Shadow Market. Then there is a prequel trilogy set in Victorian London called The Infernal Devices, which contains Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. This prequel has a sequel called The Last Hours, which contains Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, Chain of Thorns. Then, jumping forward in time, out of the Victorian era, past the events of the Mortal Instruments in the sequel, there's a sequel to the OG series set 5 years after these events, and this is called The Dark Artifices, and contains Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, and Queen of Air and Darkness. Then there's also a trilogy titled The Eldest Curses, which is about Magnus Bane and Alec Lightwood. These are titled The Red Scrolls of Magic, The Lost Book of the White, and The Black Volume of the Dead. Finally, planned but not released, is a sequel trilogy to The Dark Artifices, which is called The Wicked Powers. These titles are The Last King of Fairy, The Last Prince of Hell, and The Last Shadow Hunter.
Stop it, Cassandra. Write anything else.
I will not read any of these books, but I did listen to some YouTube videos and did a lot of reading on the Shadowhunter wiki, so ask me anything. What do you want to know about the characters?
I don't know. I don't want to know anything.
Oh my god. How are they not... tell me all.
So what you find out in the next 2 books is that they're not siblings, and it's really convoluted.
Yeah.
But it's like Valentine took on the identity of a different guy, Herondale, I believe, and killed him and his son, and like raised, like that's how they thought they were raised. But then when Jace was, I don't know, like a preteen, Valentine was like, oh, I think they're onto us. So he faked his own death and basically orphaned Jace. So yeah, no, that's what it was, is he stole that guy's kid. So Jace is not related at all. He
stole someone else's kid.
He stole someone's kid, basically. However, there's a character you meet in either the second or the third book named Sebastian, and you like Sebastian at first, but then you find out that's actually Valentine's son that he faked the death of. But the issue here is that Sebastian is also into Clary sexually, and at one point tries to rape her.
Is this before or after he knows they're related?
I believe this is after she knows that they're related. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So her brother, Sebastian,
is still into her.
And tries to rape her.
Yeah, cool.
So then eventually... Sorry, go ahead. He gets killed.
Does Jace like save her from the... Oh, okay.
Yeah, he gets killed at the end of, I think, this... No, it's Valentine who gets killed at the end of this trilogy. Sebastian just like fucks off for a while. I think he gets killed at the end of the other 3 set of books. He becomes like the next villain.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. How does Valentine get killed?
They end up summoning
love.
No, they end up summoning, I want to say, an angel. Again, like I don't know if it's real or something, but basically the angel.
I keep forgetting this is like a Nephilim story.
Yeah, the angel.
Because I'm like, Nephilim where? Where are these?
The angel shows up and is like, "Fuck this," and kills him. I believe that's what happens. And so eventually Simon, because in the next book she tries dating Simon, but like ain't really vibing with it. There's this whole scene where they're in the Seelie court or the Unseelie court for some reason. I don't fucking remember why. But
wait, there are fairies in here too?
Yeah, there's fairies in here.
Cool. Yeah, sure.
Remember, she was too ugly to be a pixie. That's right.
Yeah, I remember. Those are all the downworlders. So Clary ends up like not really eating something in the Fey world, but something like falls into her mouth. And so they have to do some kind of tricksy thing to get out, where the Seelie Queen is like, like kiss the person you desire most or something. So like Simon kisses her and it doesn't do it, but then Jace kisses her and it does do it. This is when they still think
siblings at this moment.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So,
and Simon, I'm sure, is still into her after that. He's like, you know what,
Simon.
Maybe we could do a little stepbrother.
Well, Simon at this point becomes a vampire.
What the fuck?
So, it was. Oh, you know what? What caused it was he like. when he was with the vampires
Did he get turned into a
and he was a rat,
Yeah.
he bit one of them and he got like the vampire blood up in him. And then he was like, ooh, I've been feeling kind of weird and funky. And then I think Valentine tries to kill him, does kill him technically. And another vampire named Raphael like finds him and is like, should I like, let's, you know, he's going to come back from the
Change
dead.
him
So let's do
fully.
the thing. So he fully becomes a vampire, but he can still walk in the sun. And I think we find out that that has something to do with Jace. And I can't remember how, because another part of this is when you Jace starts like pulling away from Clary, and it's because he found out that like his dad basically made him drink a bunch of demon blood when he was a kid, just to like make him like more powerful. So he's like part demon now.
His real dad?
No,
Or
Valentine.
Valentine?
But then you find out when this all comes out that like no, actually his dad gave the demon blood to his real son Sebastian, because his dad was like having two households, like dad's living a double life for a while there. So he gave his real son the demon blood, and that's why Sebastian's evil. He gave Jace angel blood to drink, and so Jace has angel blood in him. And it's something about the angel blood and like feeding off of Jace that keeps Simon from like being he's still able to like go walk in the light. So Simon's a vampire. He ends up going to like he drinks from the mortal cup. It becomes a shadow hunter. He goes to the academy. He becomes Clary's parabatai. He ends up married to Isabel in the end.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Alec Lightwood ends up married to Magnus Bane, which I was like, okay, he's like 19 and Magnus is like 400, but whatever.
What is age?
Right. Which is the age gap between many romantasy books out there. So
so that's the basics, I guess.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I have so many more questions. I don't know where to start.
I feel like it's. I just am coming to terms recently with the fact that Cassandra Clare has mostly spent her entire career for the past 20 some odd years writing just this.
Yeah.
And more recently, and like just last year, she released a book that was not related to this. And everyone was just like, holy crap, she can write outside of this.
She has other books in her head. That's crazy.
She does, but I was looking at the Goodreads reviews for them, and people were like, you guys know that she's ripping off V.E. Schwab in these books, right?
Yeah.
So it's always something. And I'm like, this woman is just like a lightning rod for controversy no matter where she goes or what she does. But then again, I guess it's just, it's all earned. I don't know.
Okay, so nobody else added this, but who are we? Who do we think we are?
I literally couldn't remember anybody to compare myself with.
Yeah, so I said that I think at this point I'm Hodge. Fuck them kids.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who I am. A bystander, I guess, at Pandemonium.
You're at that poetry slam.
Yeah, I am. I am at the poetry slam, just like riddled with secondhand embarrassment. That's who I am right now, for sure.
Who am I? Madame Dorothea, like a recluse, like who didn't want anything involved, like, you know, just hanging out. I don't know. The main character energy in me wants to say I'm Clary, but I don't think I'm that annoying. Just like 10% less.
I can't even think of like a quality that Clary has right now.
I know.
What qualities does she have? Who is Clary?
What is her personality other than hating other girls?
Yeah, what is her personality besides I'm the most special girl who is not like other girls? And that's really
but also
irritating.
not because she's terrible self-esteem.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how this was ever Harry Potter fanfic. Like, that's kind of how I feel about
this was so clearly Harry
the
Potter
irresistible
fanfic.
I see that it's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I see the Harry Potter in it. And I also see that she has like, I remember at the time people were saying that what it was Harry Potter fanfic slashed with Buffy fanfic with Star Wars. And I was like, where is Star Wars coming in here? But that's what people said at the time. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I remember Buffy, I remember Harry Potter, and I definitely see the Buffy fanfic in here with like the little crowd of kids and like that we're special and like we have issues because we're teenagers, but like, and then obviously the rest of it's Harry Potter with Voldemort. Thinking
about it as a slash fic makes more sense, I guess. like I'm thinking of the stuff I've read more recently, which is again is not like 20 years in the past. It's 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really old fan fiction. Like old fan fiction before like
I also hated slash fics. I never read them. I thought they were so fucking stupid. Also, it was always the slash fic with Harry Potter. Like, again, I think I told you guys I read like all the like Naruto anime fanfic, and it was the amount of like Naruto slash Harry Potter where they would be like ninjas in Hogwarts, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
No,
I hate that.
I never really liked pushing two fandoms together. I would always not seek that stuff out. But yeah, this definitely has Buffy mixed in
Slash
with Harry
fic
Potter.
energy.
And I'm like, why are
Yeah.
you doing this? Why are we calling it slash fic? Because slash fic is
Or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it called? It's called something, a crossover. That's what it is.
Crossover. Yeah. Whatever.
Sorry,
Tabitha,
I started
think
saying-
spoke over you.
Having read the Draco trilogy, this is the Draco trilogy. These are the characters.
Okay.
This is it. Like I said, it's why I had to stop reading it in 2008 because I was like, I have read this, and it was bad then.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well.
So anyway, I told Maura I felt so relieved. Like when I got all my notes in, and I was done. I was fucking done. I've been thinking about reading this book for like 15 years that I just like should.
Yeah.
And now it's over, and I never have to do it again.
It's over forever.
I realized
You could, if you wanted to, read the 800 other books in this
I
series.
will not. I've done my time. I guess also we should have put in here like other books we recommend to curb this negativity. But I can't think of. I can't. I've also read 2 bad books this past week, so I got nothing to recommend right now.
What was the other book you read?
Oh, I read a bad nonfiction and a bad like sci-fi book.
I've just read hockey shit recently. I did start reading Nightshade or something. I think you read that recently, Maura. I thought it was going to be like a romantasy book. It's not at all.
No, I don't know what that is. What is it? Oh.
I thought you read it.
No, I've not read that.
Just kidding. It takes place at like a college with houses. It's mystery. It's got like weird mafia vibes somehow.
Okay.
Slight mystery, I should say. Not really. Could be good. It's like a little YA-esque just because they're, I don't know, that like college atmosphere I feel just gives off those vibes. So far, it's kind of interesting. It's a duology. I think the writing style is what kind of makes me think it's YA. Literally, this girl is like, I feel sad about this. Or do I feel happy? And I'm like, I can't with your introspection. Like, move on. So maybe try that out. Nightshade by Autumn Woods.
The best thing I've read so far this year is The Graceview Patient by Caitlin Starling. So if you're interested in a medical body horror story, there you go.
You know, I might pass on that one.
No, that's not Emma's vibe at all.
No.
I have been reading Lila Sage and Laurie Gilmore, and I can't really recommend either, so I'm sorry about that. But it's just not my thing.
We're killing it on this, right?
I know, and I read Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, which I think was better, but the amount of times she said that their mouths worked against each other annoyed the bejesus out of me, so, you know, your mileage may vary. Sorry, everybody. It's January.
I finally read Love Theoretically.
Oh, well, that's not
You finally
good.
read Love Theoretically?
Yeah, I read it. I finished it on the 1st of the year.
All right.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I enjoy all Ellie Hazelwood, though. It
Good.
wasn't my top rated book from her, though, so
Yeah, it wasn't my top rated either, but I enjoyed
No.
it more than her more recent
I
stuff.
gave it
So
3.75. So
that's fair. That's a fair rating.
Well, I just was checking my Libby right now, and I saw that I received a sci-fi romance, and then I looked at it, and I see that it is 733 pages. So I don't know if this is going to happen.
oh my god.
That's a lot.
It
I
is.
don't know if I could do that. I do have in my Libby, which I have fired up and ready to go, House of Earth and Blood. Crescent City.
What is that?
Sarah J. Maas.
Oh.
I said I wasn't doing that.
I
It's too
know, I
big.
know. I'm gonna see how far I can go because this sucker's a long
Did
one.
you ever finish
It's quite
Brimstone?
long.
Those books are crazy.
Emma,
What?
did you ever
No.
finish
Brimstone?
Brimstone? No.
Nope.
No.
I took a break to read other things.
I
More
just never
hockey
got
shit.
back to it.
Yep.
The magic wore off, I guess.
It just like was. It's exactly what happened with Serpent and the Wings and Night. I think that was the first book in that duology. The second book is like so political, like it's like political intrigue type stuff, and that's kind of what's happening here. They're trying to put action in it in Brimstone, which is the second book in the like the sequel to Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, because we're still technically recording, it's just too much going on. I told my cousin when we were talking about these books, because she finished Brimstone, and I said Quicksilver should have been 2 books. It's like a really long book. I think she could have fleshed out Quicksilver more, made it into 2 books, and then kind of the second half of Quicksilver, instead of kind of stopping on like that really weird cliffhanger where she's like,
where I have
now
no
you're
idea
the
what
queen
happened.
of the vampires too.
How? I'm still so confused.
Yes, and like that's where the next book picks up, obviously, but like that shouldn't have been a cliffhanger. It should have been like kind of the whatever pivotal point, summit, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah,
main.
That could have been the midpoint of book 2.
Yeah, what's that stupid mountain they make you do in English?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what
like the
I'm
3-point structure. Yeah.
Listen, I'm hungover. Okay. And that her becoming like a vampire fairy thing, whatever, is main point of the second book. And then you have kind of some of that other kind of political intrigue going on in the second half of the second book, which would make the switch between all of this action with fairies and then random vampire shit and political shit in the second book feel less like
this is where I am
like 2 separate huge like I don't know, themes, you know.
No, I think this is where like I think Brimstone's a good example of like indie books that get picked up by publishers and then they like, okay, now we're going to write the second book, and it kind of all falls apart. Just because like you can do whatever you want as an indie publisher. Like she made a lot of choices there on her own without anybody telling her like, hey, you know, maybe not this way, and she can get away with it because like she did a really good job marketing that book, and it was like the vibes were good, and you know, she obviously did a lot of work, and it paid off, and she got the contract, and the indie books became trad publics, and then it just didn't hit the second time around. The magic left because, you know, the mixture wasn't right, and I think that's a lot of what happens these days. So I don't know, I guess that's not super shocking to me personally, but you know.
I mean, again, Serpent and the Wings of Night is similar thing, like tons of action, kind of it's all leading up to the end of that fight where, you know, he has to kill people, blah 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 blah, then he becomes king, and then the whole second book is like, what is he doing now as king?
Well,
I don't, like,
the one saving grace of that sequel is that he is a huge fucking simp in it.
He is. I really liked actually that book.
Yeah.
Because it was just, I thought it did it really well.
She's basically like, you are scum, and he's like, yes, I am. Tell me what to do.
That's true.
He's just like, I will worship at your feet. She's like, good.
Yeah, and I think the other thing for Quicksilver, and this is the same problem in the Sarah J. Maas ACOTAR series, is like they're mates.
Yeah.
They made it in the first book, or no, not really in the first book of ACOTAR, but like when Feyre and Rhys get together, the rest of it is them just talking about how much in love they are with each other, and like, I'm happy for you, but can you shut the fuck up?
It lost the American
mate, I love you so much, and your gigantic penis. Oh my god, it's the best sex I've ever had. I'm like, oh my god, shut up.
I wish that these books would play more into the fact that they have these huge character casts. And for her, she could have easily been like, and now we're going to jump to the next couple people to talk about and their romantic relationship, and we'll figure out what's going on with the MC and her problems, like, as we go along with this new romance. because I do not give a shit about people's romance after they figured it out, especially in these sort of instances where it's just like so dramatic and so over the top to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
It feels like when like your friends get together in high school and it's like all leading up to like, will they, won't they? Like, oh, they both secretly like each other and now they do. And then like every fucking party you're at, they're like sitting on each other's laps or like kissing each other in front of you and you're like, go away. I was rooting for you to get together and now I don't want to look at it.
Exactly. Which is why
I've
like
moved on with my life.
I think I would read the fourth wing book so long as it's not in Violet's perspective. Like, I do not care about her. I don't care about Xaden. I care about her. I don't really care, but I find the secondary characters more interesting. Let them take a turn because for the love of God, these people are annoying.
Yeah. Well, and yes, and like the Brimstone is dual POV, which is fine.
Yeah,
and good for what's happening. Like they kind of split off, but again, just make more books. Stop giving me like an 800-page book with like everything in it. Just let me breathe. You know,
it doesn't have to be
is
so long.
How I felt with Six Wing. There was so much shit happening. I was like, I can't catch my breath. Fuck.
All right, we should probably like wind down here.
Yeah.
So if we even keep all of this in, so who wants to say the outro?
I got it.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
If you have a hot take or book you would like us to recap, you can message us on our socials. You can find the links on our show notes. If you like us, please rate us and leave reviews. That makes us so happy. Until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.